We're live again. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Uh, just technical stuff. It's embarrassing. Some of this is just because there's no time, or there is a way to test this stuff out. The irony is that before the show, Lois was messaging me frantically, I got no Wi-Fi. I'm waiting for Brian to join in, Lois to join back. I still don't know what's wrong with my eyebrow. It's just too long. Needs trimming. That's a sign of age and insanity, I have to admit. Excuse me. Brian. Brian, log on, Brian. Well, I don't know where anybody is. This just in. The Flash. Dallas, Texas. It's my impression of Warble Cronkite. Warble Cromite. This just in. Wait, Brian's here.
Brian's in.
Brian's in. Thank God. Are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep, I can hear you.
The irony is that before the show this morning, Lois is frantically messaging me. I have no Wi-Fi, and I go, well, just can you just you don't need Wi-Fi, we have no internet. I mean, and it's like, can we postpone? She was saying, can we postpone? And I go, no, figure it out. You can do it on your phone. No. And then she goes, okay, I got it. And then what happens? She comes on the air, and I'm the one with the computer problems. What happened was this. I just got this new computer as a gift from a couple of dear friends. A secondhand computer, but I needed a new one. It's a beautiful Apple laptop, right?
It's just like mine.
Just like yours, right? So I set it up, and everything looked fine. And then I wanted to share the screen of Lois's book. And unfortunately, in the new computer, I didn't have Chrome because, it wasn't working. The share screen wasn't working. So while the interview was going on, I was messaging the helpline for StreamYard, and they said, try using Chrome. Then I looked in the computer, there's no Chrome. So I had to download Chrome. Then I had to find it. Then I had to open it. Then I had to install it. Then I had to do all this and that. And that's why, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
it's been a long year, Brian.
So is Lois gone for the day, or do we know?
I don't know. I just sent her the link.
Oh, okay.
She saw the link. Are you joining us?
Or have you?
Again, I think she's pissed off.
She didn't seem pissed off.
Yeah, when she say, "You guys always have this problem," that's what she said like 2 or 3 times. Like, come on, Lois. Come on. We'll have to have her back anyway. I just messaged her. Are you coming back? How you doing? This is funny thing about this internet show for me is there's a lot of work that goes into a lot of panic. It can be, deadlines, and to make sure everybody has their needs. It's like any production, and then when it happens, it's like when I get to the desk to do it, and I go, this is such bullshit, in terms of why am I stressing over this? This is just a conversation I'm having with my friends. And, but I don't know, it's because of the way I promote it, like a comedy dish, like it's important, or other people feel that it's important. I guess the guests obviously feel it's important for them if they're spending their time doing it. I mean, I am embarrassed. Lois, I apologize to you. Wait a minute, I'm getting a message. Let's see who it is. Sorry, the internet is down. We'll have to reschedule. All right, so Lois is having trouble with internet. So it's her fault.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm going to say, Brian and I
how about next?
You have a wonderful Christmas with Anne. All right.
We could do it next week.
I can't even think about it next week.
Okay.
But yeah, possibly. Sure.
Or the first week of January, if you want to.
Something like that. I've been dealing with the other scheduling problem of Real Comedy Storage, which is like comedy stories, not comedy storage.
Yeah. I
Which
saw
we recorded for a podcast, and I'm going to edit that and get it out there.
Yeah, and you got Kravitz for the next one.
I don't know.
Oh,
wait, I'm getting a message from Lois here. Hang on, let me see what it is. Love you guys. Assuming when it's working. Get rid of the blue thumbs up. And well, we had Kravitz, and then I brought the new computer down because it's got a big screen and it's a smart computer. It's working. But I didn't bring the external speakers, I thought, because I tested it out at my flat and I could hear, but in the theater it just wasn't loud enough. So, and I brought the microphone to the computer. It still didn't do any good. So we had to let him go. But it was a great show anyway, for the most part. We had really good people telling stories. I mean, Steve Stoliar, whose book Raised Eyebrows is being turned into a movie about him and his relationship with the elderly Groucho Marx.
okay.
True story. And so Jeffrey Rush, great actor Jeffrey Rush, is playing Groucho.
It's an interesting casting. That's interesting casting since Jeffrey Rush is Australian.
Yeah, I don't think that matters. I mean, if you look at some of the Hollywood stars, I mean, I think Margot Robbie is Australian, and we don't even. She's such a good actor.
Yeah, Russell Crowe. Yeah,
Russell Crowe. We do think he's always speaking Aussie, isn't he?
Yeah. So, no, that does sound interesting because Jeffrey Rush is a very good actor. So
they say that Steve was telling us that he's like totally off stage in character, total 100% in character the whole time. So if you can imagine dealing actually with the real Groucho Marx, in his late 80s, early 90s, that was Jack Groucho Marx when he was like, Chico was a chicken chaser, and he was talking like that about Chico Marx.
Yeah, that's the Groucho show that I saw in, I think it was 73.
You saw that show?
Yeah, with the live show that he did where he just talked for about 2 hours.
Wow.
Produced by Bill Graham. They put out an album of it. He sang a little bit.
Marvin Hamlish, I think, played piano. Right?
Had Marvin Hamlish playing piano, and he sang Lydia the Tattooed Lady, and I mean all the ones that you would remember, and told stories about his brothers. And yeah, I think it was about 4 years before he died, because I remember he died the same week Elvis died. So I think maybe 3 days after Elvis died, something like that. So anyway, is Lois giving a response? Is that what you're looking at?
No, Lou Deck just want to know, is the show over? So I told him no, we had tech issues, and now we're back. This is embarrassing. Look, what I'm hoping for, what I really need, Rick, and I what would be great would be if I had a producer producing this show. I am doing too many things at once. This is why what I think we could justify if we did. So Patreon, that was going to set up Patreon. Seems like Patreon is under kind of the site is down, or there's some controversy with Patreon. But I want to find a site. I'm sure I can find another site where we can get funds to pay for a studio to go into. At least, I don't know if I need a studio. I'm supposed to do this from my home.
Well,
it's just frustrating.
But if there's anything I can do financially from this end,
I appreciate that. I just don't know what we need. I mean, I don't know.
But
because
producer sounds like a really good idea, because when we had that guy for a few weeks, the
Jeff
show
Norman.
went pretty well. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah. And a shame that he got work. But yeah, if we're going to have a producer, he's going to have to be paid. So
Doesn't be paid. But the thing about Jeff is, I love Jeff, and he was a good foil. And he played comedically very dry against me. You know, it was a fun kind of like Alan Brady kind of thing. But I don't know. I mean, the producer, anyone. So I mean, you know, here's how it works. You find a comic who's kind of a computer nerd comic in L.A. or London that wants to do that. Well, when you're going to pay him cash, or we're going to have a character on the show, or both.
Yeah.
We just don't. I just don't want to spend cash on that kind of thing right now. We don't have any real sponsors. We have Taylor, we have Negron area rugs, but they haven't paid us in years.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that.
I'm still waiting for that money.
Yeah.
But really, what happened was my dear friends Jesse and Sonia. They hired me to do a job I needed to do on computer, and I was having trouble with my computer. And we went over to their place, and they pulled out of their Christmas bag this wonderful laptop. Couldn't fucking believe it. I brought this computer, the one we're using now, my desktop, over to them to clean. They know how to fix it. Sonia did. And with great people. And then they said, oh, by the way, Merry Christmas. Wow, are you kidding? I'm sitting there thinking, you know, I'm not making enough money, hardly making enough money to survive. How the hell am I going to buy a computer? And they give me one, which means so much. But Chrome wasn't attached, and I didn't know I needed Chrome until I spoke with the help guy at StreamYard. Because I wanted to share the screen of Lois's book. So I Googled Lois's book and found a big picture of the cover. And this is getting too much in the weeds, but almost done here. With Zoom, it was as easy, but StreamYard's too complex. It wouldn't let me do it. And then they said, well, you can't use Firefox, which is what I'm using. So I was trying to download Chrome on the new laptop. I did, but then there was all this problem.
Yes, yeah, you're using both computers at once.
Then that's what happened. And then I realized if I pulled the plug on the show, that'd be the only way for me to reboot it, but I didn't want to do that to the two of you.
Yeah, and we've still got some stories out there.
I've been the producer engineer on the show from the beginning, and I think we've done, most of our shows have been good, right?
Yeah, they've been, yes, they have run, pretty smoothly in many cases. I mean, there's little glitches with that we've had over the time, but there's been some great ones. There's, with not a single glitch and a wonderful guest. I always look at the, for example, Eddie Brill was a very good one. Most of the friends, when we've had Lou Deck on, when we had Monica, Ruby, that one was really good because we had Alan Steven join us. Any of the ones where we get additional participation. That one we did with Phil Walker was interesting because that other guy came on who I didn't know, but he made it interesting. So
I like the one with Gavin Webster. That stands out.
Gavin Webster was great. Most of the English comics have been really, really fun. The Adam Bloom one went a little long, but
that's Adam Bloom in it.
Yeah, but it's great having him.
You know who I was watching this morning on the YouTube or the Facebook was Milton Jones. I loved Milton Jones. I loved working with him. Now he's famous. He's one of the best comics around, Milton Jones.
He was brilliant. My favorite line of his that I remember from the old days, he said, so I'm sitting there in Exeter with John Lennon. We're looking out, and I say to John, imagine there's no Devon. And, there's a pause from the audience, and then they get it. And it's like, he had a lot of jokes like that it took about 5 seconds. Another good one that does that is Gary Delaney, who's married to Sarah.
Gary Delaney. I was watching him last night.
Yeah.
But the thing that annoys me about him, and although, I understand, he laughs at his own jokes. He can't help it. You can tell. He can't help it. It's like a kid in school.
But yeah, that was the thing I noticed about the English comics when I was here was there were a lot of those kind of guys that had the deadpan, and it was like Stephen Wright, who did very well over here. He just had these one-liners that you get him. He's midway through the next joke by the time you've gotten the one he just did. And I always appreciate it when I actually got the joke the moment he said it. But there's quite a few of those kind of comics over here. And
you know who did? Again, we have a mutual friend. It's too bad she's no longer doing comedy, but Sheila Martin.
yeah,
she would do these jokes that mine would do backflips, but there was no pause between the end of the punchline and the laugh. She designed it perfectly.
Yes. My favorite line of hers was, when I go to the market and they say it's fresh fish, I want to see a picture of that fish reading that morning's newspaper.
Holding up a copy
of that morning's newspaper.
Yes. I like that one. I also like, because she had no segues. She would just randomly go from book to book in a massive library. And when I'm dead, I'm going to have a padded headstone, just in case I'm a member of the undead, so I can sit up and read. Hilarious.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I mean, you and I have gone back and forth, and I just and I do this all the time about British comedy versus American comedy, and I've been trying to figure this out for a long time. Is it just me, where I felt I fit the most, where I felt the most people got me without equivocation, where I got work, paid work, television, all that stuff, or is it my act? In other words, I have been getting better, getting better as a performer here and doing very good shows and opening my mind and making my persona more friendly and all these puppeteering things I'm doing. But it's a lot of work always, and I don't mind the work. But in England, everything worked. And I personally think the British comics are better because it's more my style. Now, does that mean that the British comics are funnier than Amy Schumer or Louis C.K. or no? I don't. I just think
that what you do fits in better with what the English audiences want. And I found that too. It was like coming here added an additional 12 years to my career that was just, it was dying fast. In that last year when me and my second wife broke up, we were looking at the possibility of me going into her yoga business and being her assistant because comedy was not paying the bills. I mean, I was doing a lot of piddly shit things to pay the rent, but comedy was not on the table. And then coming to England changed that. But I wouldn't have gone to England if I'd still been married to Lisa. So that's
a real question. Can you answer that? Because I'm not even using this mic. I mean, look, I lost my girlfriend in New York, Catherine. We were living together at the Chelsea Hotel, and I didn't know I was risking our relationship by going to England. But as it turns out, my second trip to London, my second or third trip, when I actually had paid bookings, so the first one was, "Hi, I'm coming to London. Can I showcase?" And they, "Yeah, sure." Then they immediately booked me. "When are you back? When can you come back? Or when would you like to come back?" So I went back in I don't know, a month for 3 weeks. And I was in 95. And Catherine, not even Catherine, but a writer who lived at the Chelsea Hotel, a published writer named Sparkle Hader. That's her name, like Bill Hader, maybe related. First name Sparkle. She was a CNN correspondent and wrote mystery novels. She dedicated her first one to me and Catherine. Catherine and I were a couple. Catherine and I were going to get married. Catherine wanted to leave the Chelsea and move into a one-bedroom. I was resistant to that because I needed to be around that vibe. But in any case, I was getting no play in New York that I needed. If Lucian Hold had passed me at Catch, if the Comedy Cellar had passed me, I would have stayed in New York. It's the Improv closed, and I had no place to play. Suddenly, I had the wherewithal and opportunities in London. And while I was in London for a 3-week second trip, living on the houseboat, paying 150 quid a week to live on the houseboat, Sparkle messages me that Catherine left me.
So
I never saw her again. I think I ran into her once. So yeah, without knowing it, I risked probably a marriage and children. You know, and okay, then you can look at it and go, well, what kind of relationship is that? You know, she should have said, she should have called me and warned me, but you know, she was fed up because I was going to LA for months and everything. In any case,
yeah, well, you know, it's interesting how you know, things fall into place. You know, that there's a I don't know, destiny or whatever. Yeah, we get too metaphysical.
But how much of our destiny is already destiny, and how much of it is what we choose, or how much of it are choices influenced by destiny? I'm sure that, for example, if I didn't have such a toxic family, I would have stayed in LA. My family was very toxic for me. I was, you know, there was threats and, you know, there was violence and there was hatred. I couldn't take it. And even though I was living in my own apartment, I was still in that circle. I couldn't take it anymore. And then when I just decided, you know, because the Comedy Store was supposed to be my foster home when I went to the Comedy Store. That's how I felt. Who needs family? I have these brothers and sisters and cousins. And that was the way I looked at the Comedy Store, subconsciously and consciously. And, you know.
Yes, I mean, during the bulk of my time at the Comedy Store, I was in the relationship with Lisa. So it's kind of like she built her own career at the Comedy Store because she was doing yoga. She was teaching yoga to Mitzi and the rest of the staff. She'd come in once a week and do yoga. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was doing that right around the time that I came to England that first time in 1996. She started doing that because she was working at one of the big, I forget the name of the big natural food store.
Erewhon?
Erewhon, that's the one. Yeah,
Erewhon.
she was working at Erewhon, and Mitzi came in and recognized her, and then asked, "What have you been doing?" And she said, "Well, you know, I've been teaching yoga full time." And Mitzi's like, "You teach yoga? Oh, I want," you know. And she hired her right on the spot to do. And you know, Scott Day was involved in that. Michael Becker.
I love Scott Day. I still hear from Scott Day. You know, he travels around the world.
Yeah, I don't know where he's got the money, but me neither. He would call me whenever he was in England. I haven't heard from him about 7 years, but yeah, he used to call about once a year when he'd be in England, and we'd talk for about an hour or so. Always called me bro. So, but yeah, I was there the one night that he got the shit beat out of him. You know, but it was by some thugs that were there with Bobby Brown, and all they saw was that some black female comic was yelling at him because he rejected her. Basically, you know, he just said, "You're not funny enough. We don't want you here." And she's screaming at him, and he was drunk, and he was just like not, you know, being insulting to her. And you can't talk to my woman like that. So the 3 guys just beat the crap out of him. So
wow.
You know, so he was in hospital for a couple of days.
Couple of days. What the doctors have to do? Find new crap and install it?
Yes. Well, maybe an old cliched phrase there, but yes, they beat him up. I'm
really sorry to hear that. I was with him in New York, and he got attacked he had been drinking. And I was walking with him and someone else in the Greenwich Village, and someone's dog came up to him, and he did something to the dog, and then the dog owner punched him.
Nice one.
And he's a nice guy. I mean, nice guys always get punched.
Yeah, I think he's gone clean and sober since, he's been clean and sober for about 15 years at least. But yeah, he used to call my landline about once a year. It was always great to talk to him.
He's a good guy. And you know who else from the old days who I had been in touch with? I don't know how long ago, but George Bennett.
Yeah, he was the first guy when I was working there. The first
George Bennett in the talent coordination, in the talent department at the Comedy Store, told me, and I believe this because I know it's easy to lie when you're complimenting someone, but George told me when he first got to the Comedy Store, there were only two comedians that made him laugh: Garrett Shandling and Stephen Allen Green. And I, come on, cut it out. Really? But yeah, to him, and that's the thing, comedy is such a personal thing. I could go there. I had a friend in from England last week, and he went to the Comedy Store along with a comedian who was playing there. And the only funny person he thought he saw was Argus Hamilton, which I said, yeah, Argus is brilliantly funny. And it just frustrates me because I have to go, okay, well, when I worked at the Comedy Store, I don't want to say it was a funnier place, but it was a different thing and the styles were different. This is what I wanted to talk with Lois about, which was so frustrating because.
Well, has she responded about a return date?
No, I can't deal. I personally am not going to bother with her right now. She's having her internet is down anyway.
Okay.
So I don't know how she sent me a message if her internet is down, but she sent me a message her internet is down. There's a lot of finger pointing going on between me and Lois.
No.
So we got to figure that out. But
well, I'm going to have to run because during when we were actually on, my brother called. So I told him.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was really urgent, he would have said so. But
okay. All right. Well, blessings to Maggie. Happy Christmas to you both.
Okay.
Happy Christmas, Lois. We love you. We're really sorry this happened. Please forgive us. Please come back. I'll promote your book. I'll promote your book anyway. I'll send you the thing and the address. Send me the book. Send me the book. I'll read it, or I'll get it on Amazon.
Okay.
We'll figure out next week. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, then.